Increasing and decreasing when working in the round sounds like it would be very tough, but truly it is not. It's very easy on a kiss loom. Let's do some increasing first, because that's what people think is most confusing. Loosening these bolts, stretching out this slider so it moves one peg away from where it was. I usually align my pins so the ones on the end make a straight line with the ones on the side, and that normally makes the stitches come out evenly. So I'm just holding it in place with one hand, tightening with the other. Just hand tight. Now we've got room for another stitch, but we don't have another stitch. There are a number of methods of increasing, and one of the very easiest is picking up the purl bar from the row below and hanging it on the new peg. If you did not want to do it from this position, for some reason, you could also move this stitch over, and maybe even this stitch over, and put the increase here on the now empty peg. Again, one method is the purl bar from the row below. That's going to be the simplest one for me to show you while working on this small loom. I don't have a lot of working space, but I chose it because I can get it all right in front of the camera for you. Now we effectively have new stitches on there, and we just go knitting on around in the normal way. Normally, I will tell you, I would space my increases evenly. I'd either do them at all four corners, or maybe the middle of each side, moving stitches, or I'd have some specific reason I wanted them spaced as they were. So what I just showed you is only to give you two options. It's not because you would normally increase at one corner and in the middle of one side. We'll just knit them all off in the normal way. And I'm only doing it so that you see how normal it is. You already know how to knit like this. Now I've got a number of increase and decrease videos, and I encourage you to watch the others, because there are many good methods for making a new stitch. Many. One of the most interesting is called Ruth's Invisible Increase. I didn't invent it. Ruth Airy did. She's just brilliant on kiss looms, but she does not care to make videos, so she gave me permission to make it so you could learn to do it too. I'm going to finish this round off camera, because there's nothing exciting about it, and then I will show you some decreasing. On to decreasing. Same deal. We've got to move in our ends. If you're using a one peg slider, the same principle applies, and the reason I'm not showing you on that is it would be very hard for you to see down in the loom to see what was happening. Now you really don't have to take the stitch that you're decreasing off before moving the slider, because we need less space, not more, for this particular event. I don't have this end quite lined up the way I want it yet. That's better. Now we've got a stitch outside the knitting perimeter. So I'm just going to move it over. I could move it over to the peg I'm pointing to, or to the peg I chose, either one. On the other side, there is also a stitch. It's not going to focus if I don't bring it to you. Outside the perimeter. The pins are making the perimeter, and we don't want a stitch outside of it. Let's move this one to the end peg, just to show you it can be done. Again, we could move over here and move these three all in so that our decrease occurred on this peg. so as to be in the middle of a side. Sometimes a decrease is used as a style thing. Let's do the same over here. For example, a dart, an underbust dart or a waistline dart, and you want the line of the decreasing to show all in a line. So it matters exactly where you put it. And that's a case where you would move stitches over to create the perfect position. Obviously, the easiest place to decrease is right at the corner where you end up with a spare stitch. Now, as I go around, every time I hit a doubled stitch, I will just knit 2 over, and then we'll be back to normal. If you are working a design where the decreases are really part of the looks, not just making it smaller, you do want to make sure you keep decreasing onto the same peg, and maybe from the same direction or alternate directions in an even rhythm, because the designer has used that as part of the look. You can see the decreases a little bit, and sometimes they're used decoratively. But this is all there is to it. There is no mystery and no magic to decreasing or increasing on a kiss loom in the round.